Hi everyone. Welcome to our English Learning Story series. This story is called Time Travel Trouble, and it's made especially for you English learners from all around the world. We use simple, clear words and an emotional, exciting story to help you enjoy learning English. So sit back, relax, and let's start this magical journey together. The wind blew softly through the old streets of Windmere. It was a quiet town, full of small shops, kind neighbors, and old secrets. 12-year-old Leo Martin loved exploring. Every Saturday, he rode his bike around town, always looking for something interesting. This Saturday was no different until he found the clock shop. The store was small and dusty. Its name, Timeless Treasures, was written in gold letters above the door. Leo had never seen it before, even though he passed this street every week. Curious, he stepped inside. "Hello?" he called. No answer. The shop was filled with clocks, big ones, small ones, ones that ticked, and ones that chimed. But one clock, in the very back, stood out. It was tall and made of dark wood, with glowing blue hands and strange symbols instead of numbers. Leo stepped closer. The air around it felt different, cold, magical. A piece of paper was taped to the side of the clock. It said, "Do not touch, time is not a toy." But Leo couldn't help it. He reached out and lightly touched the clock's shiny surface. Tick, tick, boom. The room spun. The clock shook. Lights flashed. And suddenly, Leo was gone. He opened his eyes and found himself lying on grass. The sky was blue, but not like home. People nearby wore strange clothes, long robes and hats with feathers. A carriage passed by, pulled by horses. Leo gasped. This isn't Windmere. He looked at a sign on a nearby building. It read, "Windmere, year 1785. Leo's heart pounded. I traveled through time. Suddenly, someone shouted, "Hey, you there!" A girl about his age stood nearby. She wore a long dress and had messy braids. "You don't belong here," she said. "Where's your family? Where did you come from?" Leo didn't know what to say. "I think I made a mistake." The girl frowned. "A mistake?" "I touched a clock, and it sent me here." The girl's eyes widened. "The old timekeeper's clock? You really did it?" Leo nodded. "Well, come on then," she said, grabbing his hand. "If you want to get back, we'd better hurry. The timekeeper doesn't like visitors." As they ran through the strange old town, Leo realized this was more than just an adventure. It was a problem, a time travel trouble. The girl pulled Leo down a narrow alleyway. Her grip was strong, and her eyes looked serious. "My name's Elsie, by the way," she said. "What's yours?" "Leo," he answered, still out of breath. "Leo Martin." "Well, Leo Martin, you're in a big mess." They stopped behind a bakery. The smell of fresh bread filled the air. It reminded Leo of home and made his stomach growl. Elsie noticed. "You're hungry." Leo nodded. "I didn't exactly plan to time travel today." She gave him half of a warm bread roll. "You're lucky I like feeding stray dogs." Leo laughed a little. "Thanks." Elsie smiled. "So, you touched the timekeeper's clock?" "Yes. It was in a shop called Timeless Treasures. I thought it was just a normal clock. But when I touched it, everything changed." Elsie grew quiet. "The clock is powerful. My grandfather told me about it. He said it can take people through time, but only by accident. It doesn't like to be disturbed." "Your grandfather?" Leo asked. She nodded. "He was the old timekeeper. He disappeared a long time ago." Leo's eyes widened. "Wait, do you think the clock sent him to another time too?" "Maybe," Elsie said softly. "Or maybe he never found his way back." That made Leo's stomach feel tight again, but not from hunger this time. "I need to get home," he said. "My parents will be worried." Elsie looked at him. "Time works differently here. Maybe no one even knows you're gone yet. But still, we should try to send you back." "How?" "There's a map," she said. "A special one. My grandfather hid it before he vanished. It shows where the clock's power is strongest. If we find that place, you might be able to return." Leo looked around the old town. Horses, carts, people in strange clothes, it all felt like a movie. But it was real. Where's the map? He asked. Elsie frowned. That's the hard part. It's hidden in the old library. And that place, well, it's not exactly friendly. Why? The mayor lives there now, she said. And he hates kids, especially kids asking questions. Leo took a deep breath. I guess we have no choice. Elsie smiled again. You're brave. I like that. They started walking toward the edge of town. The sun was lower in the sky now, casting long shadows. As they walked, Leo felt something shift inside him. He wasn't just scared anymore. He was curious, excited, even a little hopeful. This wasn't just a mistake anymore. It was a mission. The sky was turning orange as Leo and Elsie reached the hilltop. From there, they could see the library, a tall stone building with ivy crawling up its walls. It used to be open to everyone. Now, it was the mayor's private home. He lives there? Leo asked, surprised. Elsie nodded. Since last year, he closed the library and said books were a waste of time. Leo shook his head. That's just wrong. Exactly, she whispered. That's why we sneak in sometimes. For the books, and now for the map. They waited until the sun dipped behind the trees. The shadows made it easier to hide. Quietly, they climbed the hill and crept toward the back of the building. There's a loose window, Elsie whispered. Come on. With a bit of effort, they opened it and slipped inside. Dust filled the air. The room was cold and silent, except for the soft ticking of a faraway clock. Do you know where the map is? Leo whispered. Elsie pointed toward a high bookshelf. Somewhere behind those books. He never checks up there. They tiptoed across the wooden floor. Every creak made Leo's heart beat faster. He didn't want to get caught, especially not in a different century. Elsie climbed up first, then pulled Leo up behind her. She moved a row of books and reached behind the shelf. There's something here, she said. It was a thin, rolled-up scroll tied with a red ribbon. Elsie's hands shook as she opened it. This is it, she whispered. My grandfather's map. Look, see the clock symbol? That's where the energy is strongest. Leo stared at the map. It showed a forest outside of Windmere, near a place called Hollow Oak. Do you think it's still there? He asked. I hope so, she said. But we'll need to leave early tomorrow. It's a long walk. Just then, bang! The door slammed open. A loud voice filled the room. Who's in here? It was the mayor. He was tall and thin, with a sharp mustache and an even sharper frown. Run! Elsie yelled. They jumped off the shelf and ran through the hallway, dodging chairs and knocking over a lamp. Thieves! Children! The mayor shouted behind them. They reached the same window and slipped out just in time. The mayor's angry voice faded as they ran back into the night. Finally, they stopped behind an old tree, panting and laughing at the same time. That was close, Leo said. Too close, Elsie agreed, still holding the map tightly. Leo looked at the stars above. Even in the past, they looked the same. He felt small, but also brave. Tomorrow, he said, we find the Hollow Oak. Elsie nodded. And send you home. The morning sun rose over Windmere. Birds chirped softly, and the air was cool and fresh. Leo and Elsie met near the edge of town, both carrying small bags with food and water. You ready? Elsie asked. Leo nodded. Let's find that tree. They walked for hours. The forest grew thicker, darker. Twigs snapped underfoot, and leaves whispered above them. Still, Leo felt calm with Elsie by his side. This place feels magical, he said. Elsie smiled. It is. That's why the old stories say time can bend here. They followed the map, turning left at a creek, right at a strange rock, and straight through a field of yellow flowers. Finally, they reached a hill with one large tree at the top. That must be it, Leo whispered. The Hollow Oak. The tree was enormous, its trunk, wide and twisted, its branches stretching like arms. There was a hollow space in its center, big enough for a person to crawl into. Elsie stepped closer. This is where the map ends. Leo looked around. So now what? Suddenly, a breeze swept through the trees. The air grew colder. The leaves around them rustled louder, though no one moved. And then a whisper. It wasn't wind. It was a voice. You seek the path of time. Leo froze. Did you hear that? Elsie nodded slowly. It's the tree. The voice spoke again. Soft, but clear. One can go. One must stay. The clock demands a price. What does that mean? Leo asked. Elsie looked down. Maybe only one of us can travel through. Leo's heart dropped. But I need you to come with me. I wish I could, Elsie said, trying to smile. But I don't belong in your time. He stepped toward the hollow trunk. Do you think it'll work? I think it has to, she said. Leo reached into his pocket. He still had the small gear he'd found in the clock shop, the one that had fallen out when he touched the timekeeper's clock. Maybe this is the key, he said. Elsie nodded. Try it. He placed the gear inside a knot in the wood. The tree glowed faintly. A soft blue light filled the air, and the whispering grew louder. Return. But remember, the voice said. Leo turned to Elsie. Thank you for everything. She hugged him tightly. Take this, she said, handing him a small necklace with a tiny compass, so you never lose your way. Leo stepped into the hollow space. The light grew brighter and suddenly, everything went white. When Leo opened his eyes, the world looked different. The forest was gone. The sky above him was gray, and he was lying on cold, hard stone. A tall metal tower stood nearby, humming quietly. What is this place? He whispered. He stood up slowly. Cars zoomed by in the distance. Neon lights blinked on strange buildings. People walked by wearing shiny coats and speaking into tiny wrist devices. This isn't home, Leo said out loud. I'm in the future. He pulled the compass necklace from under his shirt. The arrow spun wildly. Elsie, he whispered. What do I do now? Leo walked into the city, hoping someone could help him. But everything felt cold and rushed. No one made eye contact. Everyone moved fast, as if time was too short to care. He tried to speak to a woman near a food stand. Hi, excuse me. She looked confused. Do you need a translator, Chip? Leo backed away. No, She walked off before he could finish. He sat on a bench and sighed. This is worse than before. Just then, a boy about Leo's age sat beside him. He wore round glasses and had a kind smile. You lost? The boy asked. Leo nodded. Yeah, very lost. The boy looked at the compass. That's an old one. My grandmother has one just like it. Leo's heart skipped. Your grandmother, what's her name? Elsie. She was an inventor and historian. She passed away a few years ago. Leo stared at him. His throat felt tight. She told stories about a boy from the past, the boy continued. Said he helped her find her path when she was young. Leo smiled through his tears. That was me. The boy laughed. Sure it was. Leo reached into his pocket and pulled out the gear from the clock. This is proof. It belongs to the timekeeper's clock. The boy's eyes widened. Wait, come with me. They ran to a small museum filled with old books and strange machines. In a glass case stood the very same clock from Timeless Treasures. That's it, Leo whispered. The boy handed him a small remote. Try placing the gear back inside. Leo opened the case and fit the gear into the clock. It clicked. The clock began to glow with a soft golden light. A deep voice echoed, Time finds its thread. The compass in Leo's hand pointed straight ahead. A new door had appeared in the wall behind the clock. The boy looked amazed. It's real. Leo turned to him. Tell your grandmother. Thank you. She changed my life. I will, the boy said, eyes shining. Leo stepped through the door. Once again, light swallowed everything. Light filled Leo's eyes once more. Fencelence. He blinked. The air smelled like rain. The sky was soft blue. A familiar breeze touched his face. He was standing in front of Timeless Treasures. Leo turned in every direction. Cars rolled by. People walked with shopping bags. A dog barked nearby. The modern world, his world, was back. I'm home, he whispered. He ran down the street toward his house. The neighborhood looked exactly as it had before he touched the timekeeper's clock. As he reached his front door, it opened. "Leo!" his mom shouted, rushing out. "Where have you been?" He ran into her arms and hugged her tightly. "It's a long story." His dad stepped outside, looking worried. "You were only gone a few minutes, but we couldn't find you anywhere." Leo blinked. "Only a few minutes?" His mom nodded. "You left for the shop and just vanished." Leo looked at the compass around his neck. The arrow was still, calm. Inside the house, everything felt the same. His backpack was still by the table. A cup of tea sat untouched, but Leo felt different. Later that night, Leo sat by the window and opened his notebook. He began to write down every detail: the timekeeper's clock, the town of Windmere, Elsie, the hollow oak, the whispering tree, the boy in the future. And finally, "I think I was meant to go. Not by accident, but by purpose. Maybe time chose me." He stared at the stars. Somewhere, in another time, maybe Elsie was doing the same. He opened the little compass one more time. Inside the lid, he found something new: words written in tiny, curved letters. "Time gives what the heart is ready for." Leo smiled. The adventure had changed him. He wasn't just a curious boy anymore. He had been brave, kind, and strong. He had made a difference, and now he was home. Thank you so much for reading our story, Time Travel Trouble. If you enjoyed this story and want more fun, emotional, and easy to understand English stories, please like this episode, subscribe to our channel, too, and turn on the bell so you never miss a story. Keep learning, keep dreaming, and remember, English is a journey, just like Leo's. See you in the next adventure.